come on. You guys, man. Go ahead, freeze your ad up for 5 minutes too. Your AI for you. Artificial insanity. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right. Let's get started here. While we're loading this up, I'll take a moment to thank all of you for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. And if you've been here for a minute and you understand what's going on here, you will understand how precious you really are. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of leave it there, let the thing load up there a little bit. All right. So looks like it's running pretty good there. All right. Let's back up here. Here we are, May 17th, 2024. As you can see, we got the loop playing here and a little activity going on both sides, all the way around a little bit here. Now let your trained eyes kind of look at that first before I start pointing anything out. All right, so let's get on into it. Let me catch the opening frame here. Okay, opening frame 024. Let me just go ahead and get adjusted here. And then we'll start getting away. As you can see, we have this event right up here already leaving. We're trying to, about to leave the screen right there. So our opening frame has this round object right here already exiting the screen. So an event underway, and it's leaving the area where this spire was, okay? Then as we proceed forward, boom, boom. Okay, this comes through there, and then we have this little shot down below here, and then off the sides kind of at the same time here. But the main one is over here on the right. Let me see, was it the first frame there? Yeah, let's go back right there. And we'll zoom in on that frame. The other side's too washed out with the plasma, so we're going to take a peek at this red side over here. I want you to know how we have a very, very defined cut right into that right there. Little object's probably right there, and plasma's draping around it. can see something's going on, and here's something's flow, or it's flowing around something right there. Okay, let's go a couple of frames here, like this. Boom, boom. Get that out of the way. Oh, I forgot it jumps when you do that. Go back. Ooh. Did that just have? Huh. Almost looks like it has. Let's go in as tight as we can in on that real quick. That's as far as it goes. Whoops. Bear with me. It's been a bumpy day today. Look at that. It has little eyes and a little face on it or something there. There we go. Right about there. Let me fix this up a little bit. Anyway, there's our object right there. Plasma draping back behind it, still kind of connected to the sun a little bit, pulling plasma out as it goes. Let's pull back a little bit here and finish that off. Okay, so boom. Pull it down just a tad bit more. There we go. And you can make out this one on the left coming out over here, kind of sneaking on out, something else moving out down there. Here you can see some kind of little U-shaped bow shock. See this black round object? It's got a little plasma out in front of it, it looks like. And then it comes up behind it and gives it a little shove. Actually passes over it. And then gives it a little shove on out. Then there's this. So, back one, 1236, 1248, starts to clear the occulter. We're getting our reading. Boom. Then it jumps to 1325. So we went from 1248 to 1325, and it's already kind of a little bit further out over here. Where's my pointer? We're right in there. It looks like there's one in there. Then we have this wide spread again. You can tell something bigger is back there, or maybe there's a secondary object. But boom. Right there in the ghost image, you can see it right there. Something going on down here as well. So there was a little spread of a couple objects right there that caused that one. Looked like it was spreading around something back there. A little further back, deeper in, where there's more plasma, more solar wind in the way. It's kind of blocking the view sometimes. Now look at this. This is a different shape type structure of a CME that I've ever seen before. Boom, comes out like in a straight line. Let's get this one right here. All right, there's object probably right in the middle right there, causing a little magnetic field. It's maybe moving a little slower, and it's got plasma holding up behind it or draping off the sides of it or something. Pretty interesting structure or configuration that we got there. And then we shift over to the other side here. It's still buried in the plasma, so we don't get a very good idea. But probably right in there somewhere. Also, this indentation sometimes indicates there's one right in that vicinity too. So let's zoom back out. Continue on. Actually, let's do this. There we go. Can you see that right there? Let's zoom in on that a little bit here. One more. Oh yeah. There we go. There's our culprit right there. It looks like. Or one trailing in the little. Oh, look at this. This is all teardrop back from another object back here. This is like a moon that's trailing something bigger back here. And then there's this guy along the side of it. Hang on, let me oh, really? I'm trying to capture this without wavy lines. There we go. It's a little better. All right, so you can see here we have another one of these spherical objects out there causing chaos with our sun. And then we'll kind of pull back again. And continue through this. We're almost done with the day right there. Yeah, you can see this widespread. Watch this little line down here. This spire. See how it bends? There's a bigger magnetic field from a bigger object or something back behind it. And this thing right here is its moon or a little satellite. All right, let me go ahead and start that back up. Slide it on over. All right, so there's your solar activity for the day. Again, I'll let it run there. Let your guys' eyes be the judge. You guys are smart people. You can be the judge of this too, okay? All right. Now, moving on to our solar ham. Bring it back up there. There we go. All right, so we did have another event today. It was an M7.2, kind of a little longer duration one. Go ahead and zoom in on that real quick. There we go. So finally a little break. We're cruising along yesterday, nice and mellow. Today, mostly mellow. We had this one boom, okay, but it's right back down to nice and mellow again. So compared to having 2 to 3 X flares per day, I would say that's a pretty mellow day. Okay, pretty calm day right there. So that's good. We could take more of those, you know. We don't need to have all this activity. Okay, anyways, back over here. Our indices are still high, but they're descending. We're down to 204 here. Pretty soon we'll be down to below 200 and it'll be yellow. This one's dropping as well. Our area has increased. It's got a little bit more area right now, but that's okay. We don't care about that. We're worried about this one right here, our solar flux indice. So still a little high, even though we're down at the, the almost to the seafloor, but that's okay. It's descending. Now, look at this. We haven't seen X flare potential down to 10% in quite a long time. I mean, we were looking at 25, 40, 75%. Remember those days just a couple days ago? Proton storm seems to be ending right now. It's down to 10%. When you look over here at the D layer, you can see it's kind of vanishing now. Let me just pull it up. Okay, so no more red up at the top, no more green down below. Our magnetic grip is now released as well. You know, there's no longer electromagnetic energy adhering to either pole. So that kind of frees up the Earth a little bit, releases that magnetic grip. So let's come on over here. The 3-day forecast. All right, they're calling for G2 tomorrow. All right, today they had a G2 that kind of came out of nowhere that, surprised. And that's going to be the theme of, from here on out. It's not what you're going to think. It's going to be something different, and it's always going to be some kind of different surprise or something like that, That's why I'm trying to point out some of these indicators that would help us kind of see the surprise coming a little bit, understand what's going on. All right. Now let's continue here. So beware, we had some storming today, and now tomorrow they're calling for G2 on this one. All right. Our sunspots, we still got 79 here. This is the one I'm still concerned about, even though it's beta gamma. That one could be dangerous. Meanwhile, we got this one, 3685, that's rotating in now. That's going to be our main concern, too. Let's pop open our KP real quick. Now, you can see we had this small little one yesterday, and now we've had another one today. You see over here on this chart, remember the big purple blob that we've been looking at for a few days? These are nothing. These are nothing compared to that big old spike that was red, all right? So, but it is added energy. All of this adds up. I would much rather see smaller ones, smaller waves of energy hit us like this than one big purple chunk like, the big red blob that we saw. Okay, so here we are with a couple little small impacts that were not really forecasted or expected. Now let's move on. Here's your auroras real quick. They're pretty healthy. A little hint of yellow almost in that one. And you see the little color chart, yellow being medium. So right now they're mild, but look like there may be a little hint growing in there. So a little bit of energy we're taking on. We're due another solar storm, so it'll be brightening up here. Remember, it's supposed to turn G2 right here. So we're on the cusp of the 18th right now. So incoming solar storm, G2. And here it is, G2. Okay, we checked all of that. Let's check the tracker real quick. See what that's track-a-lacking. Just a small impulse going back behind the Earth there. That's the same one we've seen already. Hold up on that. Don't open that up. Okay. So we've seen that already. Now, here's our M7.2 right here. Came up right off of this region right here. Let's read about it real quick. Long duration solar flare reaching M72 was just observed around AR 3685 in the southeast quadrant, peaking at 12:01:08 or 21:08. Sorry. Early indications are that a coronal mass ejection, or a CME, will be associated with this event. Just how substantial an eruption remains to be seen. As always, stay tuned where you will find out more. Stay tuned to Solar Ham. Update imagery shows that a CME leaving the sun following the long duration 7.2 is expected. It is directed mostly towards the southeast. However, the extreme edge of the plasma cloud may be directed our way. Only a glancing blow at best should be expected within the next 72 hours. All right. So glancing blow, possibly 72 hours. You know what a glancing blow means, right? G2 or G3. No, I'm joking, but you never know. A small glancing blow sometimes has done that recently. Okay. So that's why I kind of joked a little bit, but still, this is now kind of rounding the limb. We can see the light that emits from the M flare, X flare, anything that comes out of this. So any kind of CME would be kind of give us a glancing blow. And you can tell by what hit us on the KP or on the D layer, all right? So here we go. Another M7.2 glancing blow, maybe. All right. Interplanetary shockwave passed Earth on Friday at 1325. The solar wind speed increased somewhat to above 450. Well, that's nothing. We were looking at 900 a couple days ago. But the BZ component of the interplanetary magnetic field, the IMF, is now pointing south. That is not good. It's a minus 14. So minor G1 geomagnetic storm watch is in effect until 1800. So even if we don't have a CME coming to us, we do have this negative 14 on your BZ, which is just allowing solar wind to kick our butt. Now let's move on over to this one. And we have geomagnetic storm watch G1. Earth's magnetic field is reverberating from a CME strike on the 17th. That was today. Excuse me. I had to take a sip there. All right. It sparked a short-lived G2, but was mainly a G1. So, short-lived G2 class geomagnetic storm. Another CME is on the way, though. And it could deliver a glancing blow on the 19th. Minor G1 class storms are possible when the next CME arrives. So, one says G2, these guys say G1. Like I said, could be anywhere from a G1 to a G3. Now, check this out. The sun just ripped off a comet's tail. Earth isn't the only celestial body experiencing extreme weather. Space weather. Comet 12P Pons Brooks just got hit too. The effects of a CME strike are shown in this May 15th photo. Check it out. You see that right there? It's almost like another chunk broke off, and there's a secondary piece creating a secondary tail. Now, so I want to read this and keep that. Note the structure near the comet's nucleus. This is called a disconnection event. It's caused by a CME or fast solar wind stream hitting the comet. Once the earliest recorded examples of the phenomenon occurred back in April of 2007, Stereo watched the CME strike. Okay, you want to see that movie real quick? Let's do it. I think I know which one they're going to show here. Probably the one we've seen already. Why did I do that? You know what? Hold that thought. We've seen it already. Anyways, current images of 12P clearly show the effects. All right. It almost kind of looks like a secondary piece broke off and it's got a secondary tail. Maybe it's the bent effect, but this almost looks like a second coma. So I'm not quite sure. Let's give a little closer look here. All right, see, here's the one that shows the bent tail, and there's just a slight little bend right there. Where's the one I wanted in the inset there? I want this one. There it is. Is that blinding the camera? Kind of looks like it to me. There we go. You guys are used to looking at a lot of flow asymmetry at this channel. Okay? You're used to seeing a lot of wake off of the spherical object and what that causes. You're used to looking at bow shock. A lot of you are getting familiar with how astrophysics works. What do you think? Do you think this tail has split in two, or does it look like a second comet? Maybe the CME hit it and broke a piece off, or the comet itself getting struck by the sun is violent for the comet. So it could have broke apart in a little chunk. Now trailing behind it has a second tail. That's what it looks like to me. All right, these guys are saying something totally different in the article. And we all know how well we can trust the scientific community. So, you guys are big boys and girls here. Whoops, I'll let you be the judge of this, if I can get it back. What you think? Anyways, there's that. And it could be, just the CME hit it right through the middle and split the tail or something, but it looks like it has a second bow shock to me right there. More so than the front. In fact, look at this big dark area right in front of the comet. Usually comets, well, it depends on which way the solar wind's hitting it too. Solar wind might be hitting it from this direction. Actually, it should be whichever way the tail is pointing, so it's hitting it that way. Interesting. Just kind of looks like there's more going on than what they told you in the article there. Anyhow, let's get back to our article here. X out of that one. Come back to this one. Get rid of that one. So we got all kinds of comets, space debris, and stuff. Now over here at the Schumann, just brighten this back up a little bit so I can see. Looks like we have a little glitch in the data right there. A little missing data. That's okay. That black line is not like a shutdown of the magnetic field. It looks a little different than that, okay? You would see all the processes leading up to it first, and then the processes that happen afterwards coming after it. So that black line, let me get this thing out of the way here. There we go. That black line is just basically a gap in the data right there. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get it all back to where we were. Now, as you can see, we're putting right along, had a little grinding session. It gets weak here, but then we come back to life and it gets pretty vibrant. A little bit of grinding right there. That's what we were looking at last night. And then right after the show last night, we had a little glitch in data, and then it tapered off, got very weak right there. That's the little weak spot right there. You see our green line tapers and gets really weak right there. That's our 7.83. Then, right as it got weak, we started to grind again, all right? But came out of that event, there must have been a good release of pressure, because all of a sudden, it wasn't a tapered off event like this where pressure's released gradually. Over here, it just stopped all of a sudden. So we had a buildup of pressure, and then something just happened, and it stopped all of a sudden. So there's that right now. And we're cruising along pretty even right now, pretty vibrant. We got some continuity. Not continuity of government, but continuity of freedom. There we go. I hate that term, continuity of government. Continuity of freedom, turkeys. Anyway, there is your Schumann for right now, okay, indicating we did have a pressure buildup, but it got released, and now we're cruising along pretty good. It also kind of tells me when I look at this that we are having a really good inbound energy absorption and then release of pressure balance effect. As it comes in, we're relieving it pretty well, evenly distributed instead of one big violent jolt. Okay, so good, kind of good news to report there. Now let's come on over here to the null school, and I got it set up here on our upper jet stream, and let's just kind of hop on in here. Something looks weird on my camera. There we go. Hello, Hopkinson. All right, so here we go. You can see our jet stream. Our upper jet has this layout where it's just coming right over the south, even kind of drawing a little further up towards the mid-east right here. So let's take a little peek and see what, there's a little divergence right there. Do you know what would happen if you stuck a ball right there? You would get a very identical airflow. Very identical. Not very similar. That's identical. There's something right there. Round spherical object, whatever it is, there's something right here that's diverting this flow, pulling it away and taking it away. And lately we've been capturing these spherical objects up at this level. This is the upper jet. Now that when it takes place up there, it has big effects down below. So let me pull this over here and get it back in there. You guys, hopefully, you know what 3D is, three-dimensional. Well, it's, if it were a round sphere sitting right about there, wind would go around it, over it. No matter what angle it goes around, there's something round right there. Okay, hopefully you can see that. If you can't, it's okay. It takes time to understand this stuff. All right, but fluid dynamics, you got to think of like a rock sitting in a river and how water would divert and flow around it, creating eddies, look, right here. I want to show you something here. when a water would come up and hit a ball instead of a rock. Say there's a tennis ball stuck on the bottom of the riverbed. The water come up, and right before it hits the sphere, there's a high pressure right here. So it starts to split right before the sphere because high pressure is built up. Then as it goes over, low pressure builds up on the backside because it's flowing now. Sometimes it wants to wrap around, but it'll flow over, leaving a low pressure on the backside. Look at the coloration. According to the spheroid, you can see high pressure up front, low pressure in the back. Okay, we have a new player in the game. There is something new going on. There are spherical objects that are, well, controlling our weather, diverting it, controlling it, causing it, all kinds of great stuff. It's making it very hard to predict the weather anymore. Now let's kind of keep that right there. All right, you see where our flow diversion is right there, okay? Meanwhile, I mean, you can see all the other flows around, but I'm looking at that. Let's go down a tad. Now, do you see this, what it's caused? A little lower. This current up above now has caused this effect in the lower jet stream. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Something right in here causing air to pinch together around it. We'll see. I'll let you be the judge of that as well. But that's the effects that diversion up above is having on the lower jet, and that's where your storms are right on that. So let's get down to the storm level, okay? And let me take this off and back out a little bit. Now, you'll see all our wind currents, how moisture from this region is getting pulled up and going up through here now. We have this whole new storm front that's created this whole linear curtain of wind right here. See it rotating around up here? Yeah, this is the tail coming off of it. Meanwhile, we got this big old rotating thing coming into the Pacific Northwest. Pull back a little bit. And behind that is, I don't know, a cyclone, hurricane, whatever this thing is growing out there. Oh my goodness. Tilt your head just to the left, maybe 5 degrees. Looks like he's sick. And one eye spinning one way, and he's like, somebody pull over. I think I'm about to throw up. Anyways, we have this big old system out there, and I'm interested. What's causing that? Thing's got an eye in it, so let's descend right down even lower. Get right to the surface. All right, we got something going on over there. Well, would you look at that? This vortex right here is so intense up at the higher jet stream, the upper jet, that as we go down, boom, that's the lower jet stream. There's your storm level. It's 1,000 feet, and then here's the surface. That thing is still grinding away at the surface with a perfect eye in it. It's not severe yet. It's not like a red intense category storm, but that is a vortex that starts up way up high and is affecting the surface winds. You see that eye in it? You know what? From up here, I gotta see something else. It's almost there to the polar vortex. This eye right here, that's your polar vortex level. There's your jet stream level. That thing's almost ready to suck in air from space and take it down to the surface. That is interesting. I'll keep an eye on that thing for you. Anyways, let's get back to our regular report here. Back to our regular news. So we have this big old rotation right here, bringing stuff down the west coast, back out. We got this thing winding away out there. This is, oh dear. I gotta see something here. Okay, I thought maybe it was right over this hot spot, and maybe it was that hot spot that might be causing it, but it's not. So let's go back to where we were. Okay, so let me take a little tour around the world, see what else is going on. Another very powerful storm right there, too. All right, that's good enough. Now back to a regular report now. So let's get on over to the SO2. And we'll do a quick SO2 report. There you go. Right down the middle there. You see one side of the country bleeding out, the other side a little speckled, and every time I just kind of go whoosh. And it seems to do it pretty odd, huh? Almost like it's digitally in there. Do you see this? See how I did that? Right there. Left like a rectangle thing up there. All right. As you can see here, we have very dark purple in this region. A lot of pressure right now. A lot of SO2 coming out of that region right now. Down here, you see all this area that's all blocked off right there. That's all flooded from that storm that went through Texas, hit Louisiana. There was damage in Louisiana. Last night, we watched this thing address the shoreline right here. Our spheroid guided storm. We all witnessed it most of us witnessed it last night as it approached this area. And I was warning these people, hey, watch out. This is the storm that just flattened Houston. Okay. And now you can see all the flooding in that area because it plugs up the little holes in the ground. It's flooded, so this gas can't escape. But meanwhile, when it plugs this up, all the other perforations, well, that pressure down below just squeezes out through the other holes in the crust a little harder. So, darkening that area. Meanwhile, I need to check this over here because this is what I was afraid of. Okay. Our site right here. This is the thunderhead I showed you yesterday that grew over the mountains when there wasn't any thunderstorm activity around. The weather that it caused trailed away like smoke, but the cause of the weather stayed there. This never moved. The storm just emanated from like this point. And when I saw that on the radar, I was like, wait a second. Or I saw what was going on outside first and recognized that looks like it's over Mammoth Mountain. Then when I came to the radar, I saw that, yes, indeed, there was a standing still storm that was erupting over that mountain. And it's the heat that's coming out of the tip of the mountain, a column of hot air rising up into the ground, that when the cold air coming over the Sierras hit that little warm spike sticking up, it created convection all around it and created a tower that was able to punch through the cap or the ceiling. Usually there's a different pressure, different temperature level where clouds get stopped, either a floor, sometimes a ceiling, and these thunderstorms go up to a certain level, they hit that pressure and they flatten out, they anvil. Well, if it's really strong and there's a really strong updraft, it can punch through that barrier. Well, we don't have strong updrafts. This thing wasn't a supercell, but it managed to punch through. And when I saw that, I thought, uh-oh, that's an indicator of a big column of hot air. So here we are today, just at that location now is SO2 emitting from Mammoth Lakes. All right. First to report it, was the first to kind of see it and notice it down the mountain range. I live right up here, so I can look down the valley. I can look down all the Sierras and I can see Mammoth from my house. So I could see this violent thunderstorm. What looked almost like a volcanic eruption itself, but was cloud and not ash. So that was like, whoa, an indicator, like a little hint from nature saying, hey, there's something wrong right here. The only punctured the cap. And now here we got SO2 coming out of that region. Meanwhile, next door over here, I don't know if you guys know anything about this section of the country, but this is the Bay Area. And there's a lot of people that live in this whole section right there. And we have a pretty dark spot. So that's an area, well, it's a weak spot in the crust where we're seeing gas emit, right? So there's a weak spot in the crust over the North Bay Delta region. It's been there for a while. We used to monitor the size and the amount of it, but you can see that that plume right there is well, spreading and contributing to the gas pocket, or this pocket that's filling the valley right there. All right, that's an indicator pressure has gone up too, when all of a sudden this old dormant volcano starts to come to life. All right, it's not spewing, hasn't erupted yet, but that violent thunderstorm right over it indicated that there's heat coming out of it. So I got one right next door to me. Yay. Tilt your head to the left. There's an eye. It's like an owl or something, some kind of bird with feathers going over its head. See it? Moving on. Come back over here. And maybe you don't see it. Maybe you think I'm just joking around. It's funny. Get used to seeing it when you do see something, because training you to be prepared for what's coming. Okay, here we go. You can see China is like the big bruise on the planet, big purple patch right there. The whole area is very, a lot of SO2 coming out of there. There must be the look on their face right there. Oh no! But we got some pockets here that are really dark. Okay, so a lot of gas coming out of that region right there. Means pressure is still still pretty high in that region. Okay, coming on down here to Java. It's doing its job. It's venting all this SO2. Let me put on the winds here for a minute. Let's see if we got, yeah. All right, beautiful. Now you see the flow of these winds, how it's taken all of this, keeping it in this zone, keeping it going over the island here. And Sumatra itself is spewing a bunch of SO2 as well. So actually, this really, the only part is this stuff really that should be back on the island. The whole part of Sumatra is, there's no wind there. That's all natural. It's all that color. Very dark spot at the tip of Malaysia there. India's got its issues. Everybody got their issues. Even Australia's starting to bleed out now too. Okay. And take off those winds now. Oh yeah, I wanted to come over here really quick. Put us back in daytime. Please. There we go. Yeah, we're still Still quite a bit of pressure here. You can see this one well defined, this one darkened up. So that's a little increase in pressure. It's usually just this one. When these other three right in this region starting to dark up a little bit, now we got that one really dark at the opposite end of these four. So a little increase in pressure in the region. And as we go down, you can see a lot of SO2 emitting from that entire coastline, relieving pressure in that plate boundary area. And that's why we haven't seen a very big one off the coast there, South America, because this is another relief valve. All right, so we can't see it. What are you looking for? Oh, hey, there's Southern Grace. Yeah, girl, you looking good in blue. South America, you wanted to see that a little bit better. Anyways, we got all this pressure. It's blurry. Oh, that's what it was. I had darkened it for the satellite and then forgot to brighten up the thing. Thank you. That helps. Anytime I got an issue, sound, picture, tell me. I appreciate it. I love constructive criticism, even destructive criticism. So you can always turn around and make it for good. Still blurry. It looks good on my screen. You know what? Because we're looking at that, maybe we should put it on a different thing. Let's come on over to our oceans and go SSTA. And let's see now. All right. Does it look a little clearer? 7x7 now. Good, 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 good. Thank you, everybody. Yes. Participation rules. One of these days we'll all be unified. Oh, speaking of which, should I tell them about that now? No, that'll go in the spiritual part. Hang on, let me write that down. Yeah, it's pretty funny. All right, back to report. So, we still have hot patches all going off the coast of Japan here. Out here, this main one is kind of the one I'm getting concerned about because it's getting bigger and growing in intensity in the color. Okay. Just kind of looking at the chat real quick. Concerned about New York right now after violently waking up for no apparent reason, but had a strange dream. Passed away. I can. Whoops. I can relate with the violent shaking or the violent waking up. I had one this morning, in fact. We'll share that part later too. So, back to business. Sorry, I like to interact sometimes. There's this big ass hotspot right there, and then here's Tamumasi still glowing. We got this whole region. Anything in yellow is a lot of heat, a lot of pressure coming out of that region and stuff. Okay, also could possibly be a weak spot for a release of pressure in the future. Meanwhile, here we are in the Indian Ocean. It's got a little patch growing out in there. Now, I want you to note something. Look how warm the water is all around these other places, all these hot spots growing, right? Now, where's our relief valve? Java? Look how cold the water is off the coast of Java because it's doing its job and it's releasing the pressure. The water, there's no heat coming off the bottom of the ocean right there because the volcanoes are relieving the pressure and the earthquakes in the area. That difference in color, it's the only place around with cold water. I mean, very, very slight right here. Okay? Let me pull back some more. It's the only place around with cold water. You see what I mean? Do you understand that it's doing its job? It's venting the pressure, and what was usually cold water in the first place that's supposed to be around this area. Yeah, right. Well, now it's changing, but very interesting. Very telltale sign right there. Water temperature anomaly. Pressure, SO2 pressure release in the area. Pressure being released through the gas coming out of the ground versus the cold water that's in the area now, because there's no heat off the ocean floor. Look at this. There's one little cold spot right there, too. Very interesting. I wonder what's going there. Ooh, look at these two hot spots with a cold spot right there. I'm going to have to ask the Lord in privacy what's going on there, because I don't want to do that live. Okay, now let's move on. Yeah, I don't want to do that live. Oh, here we go with your La Nina starting to form now. See the cold water ribbon coming off the coast of South America now, coming up to the equator. Here's your hot water. It's starting to exit the area and cold water taking over. So as well as all these hot spots growing, we'll track the La Nina growing as well. Okay, and you can come over here to this and track it as well. It's fun playing with this thing once you see the waves, the currents, the chemicals, particulates, space. Oh my goodness, there's all kinds of stuff you could do with this thing. So we did all that. We got those curved waves. Yeah, I think we're good there. Let's move on to our earthquake report now. So USGS. Oh dear, we have a new one right there. Uh-oh, right there. That's where the big quake, Sumatra quake happened one year. All right, there's no deep quake or no quake in the deep region right there. Sorry, let's get into that one right there. 5.8. Now that's not at the surface or on the boundary. You see it's on that little mountain ridge right there. That's a 5.8 down at 203. So we have pressure that's not super deep. It's actually a third of the way down through the crust, all right? 203 and 5.8. Now, you know this agency. Come on, 5.8. Could have been a little higher, we'll just say. Now, this whole area had been quiet for a while, this region, this segment of the system. So now let's pop this one open. Here we have a 4.7 right on the plate boundary at the surface, relieving pressure. Good. This deeper quake probably sent some energy up through this system. 4.5, that's on land, but down at 126, indicating something going on. Land feature right here, probably have a volcano or something going on right here underneath this right here. We'll come back over to that another day. Now, look at this. Right in our little deep pocket area right there. Shall we? It's a 5.5 down at 527. Interesting, because usually our deep quakes are in this pocket region. So you see this is also a deeper pocket, and I've never seen a quake in this area really, in the middle of that pocket. And here we have a 5.5 down deep. This is an indicator, a new deep quake region. Okay. Usually we're seeing 4.5 energy down at that depth. This is 5.5 down at that depth. 5.5 in a little deep area down at depth could cause a bigger quake at the surface or another quake at the surface. Right over here, this is just south of our weak spot. Our weak spot was like right here. We had a big violent earthquake and an earthquake swarm after it. So that's right south of a weak spot. This was way before this one. This is currently. So this one happened a long time or earlier today. 4.4 down at 115. So it's not at the surface, it's not on the boundary. It's down a little deeper. We have some deep activity, like a localized deep region now with shallower quakes around the area, around the rim of it. Nope, nothing at fulcrum points here today at Taiwan or any of those. We have this quake up here at Japan, 4.5 down at 42. A lot of hot water off that region could be relieving the pressure in the area, so we're not seeing a bunch of bigger quakes. Nothing in here. We got volcanoes on the Kamchatka, relieving pressure, coming on in. Not too much after the kink in the garden hose there. But we do have 4.2 right there, down at 83. Now this doesn't jive with energy coming in. This is localized volcanic something island right here. Right here on the flank of this, having a little earthquake activity there. There, when we have volcanic islands like this with earthquakes right at the top, it's not a big one. It's Rat Island with a 2.6, but it's an indicator that there's movement down below this volcano. Why is there movement down below the volcano? Because pressure down below is pushing up through this conduit, this perforation in the crust. Okay. And we're seeing, when you see earthquakes at volcanoes, that's an indication that magma down below is causing it. Okay. So we kind of move on down the chain here. These are probably all volcanic. What's that one right there? 4.3, nothing made it up past the fulcrum point here, so nothing here in the Juan de Fuca. Look how quiet the San Andreas is. All right, even this area is quiet. We had one small 4.6 down at 56 there at the Cocos. All this area, look, nothing at South America. Usually we have a few fulcrum point quakes here. Nothing. Very quiet. Eerily quiet for our magnetic grip release. 5.0 down at 35, right there. That's you see this little chain of volcanic islands running right through there. Oh, that's the last island. It would be the next island would be right around there. So kind of looked like for a second, if you've continued this on, that would be the next island, but down at 35, yeah, it's probably pressure right here at our three-way junction being released. Not close enough to the surface. Is 4.8 finally here on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, though. We need to go kind of Idaho, Montana, Texas. Okay. One more thing I need to do here. Let's go all magnitude one day, because I need to see where our little microquake swarms are releasing energy. Of course, here, the geysers. I saw a little bit of Dutch Sense tonight. It's good to see him again out there talking. And here's our little quake flurry doing its thing, relieving energy in microquake, fashion. So 100 little ones, you barely feel it, but that's enough for 10 tens. It's 100 magnitude, so it could relieve a lot of energy in that fashion. Now look at here. We're inside the Bay Area right here now. Everybody that lives down there, just be aware. 2.4, it's nothing big. They're small, but that's an indicator. Little activity. It's not on the plate boundary. It's in the city, so careful there. Really, we got an earthquake down this way now? 1.2 at Tom's place. That's just a little south of our new volcano right here. Let me just go. Our new volcano is right about here. And there's our earthquake kind of on the flanks of it, really. Really microquake activity down there. What's going on here? Not too much there. Oh, I wanted to check Hawaii. The hub of the wheel, if the Pacific Rim were a bicycle wheel, well, the very center of it would be the hub. And this is the hub of the Pacific Rim, or the Pacific Ocean right here. And you can see our little flurry of quakes still going on. We currently have a 1.9, even stuff off the coast here, 1.9. So 2.3 there. So again, here at Hawaii, when we have pressure build up down below, sometimes the hub is the first indicator too. So we're starting to see a little release of earthquake activity around that region. Now, out here, this is a region 5.1 down at 10. Now, this is a region I believe that generated our big quake, the Sumatra quake, Christmas Eve. All right. I don't think it was here on the plate boundary. It was a little further out here. So when I see activity in this region rocking and rolling a little bit, everybody watch out in that region. Hopefully, that was a 10, right? Tell me that was a 10. Okay, good. That's energy being released at the surface. There's pressure underneath this. If energy is being released right there at the surface, something's going on down below there. Another spot to watch now as a possible weak spot or for future activity. Because there's something that caused this down below, if that's at the surface. Cause and effect, cause and effect. It's always some kind of, if you're seeing an effect, well, there's always some kind of cause to it. And it's usually the effect that gives away the cause, if you understand the effect. All right, let's get over here. Cancel that out. All right, Lord, let's have the volcano page. Please let it work. Or maybe I should have done it that way. There we go. Yay. Answered prayers. No, it's a little slow. Okie dokie. So here we are already into the 18th. Fuego, Popo, Semaru, our regular players. Oh, Concepcion. The concept. You guys grasping the concept yet? Okay, Semaru here, 15,000 feet. Now, this is on the island of Java. This kind of thunderhead type cloud coming out of the, when there's no other storms around, except this one's ash, but I saw a very similar cloud structure above, above Mammoth. So, Semaru, 15,000. Fuego, 15,000. Concepcion, 18,000. Are you grasping that? Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Concepcion, 18,000 already. Sabancaya, probably, sporadic. Yeah, I felt that way today, sporadic. All right, please go. There we go. All right. So here we go. Chevaluge. Epico, 9,000. Oh, I'm going to write that down right now. Say it again. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Cool. All right, we'll move on. Yeah, that's similar to the thunderhead I saw growing. Now, this is like a mushroom cloud of ash. But if you see on a clear day when there's no thunderstorms predicted, if you see this kind of a column, very violent blossoming, cumulonimbus in this kind of shape over a mountain that's in cloud form, but not in ash, that's an indicator that there's a heat driving this up. All right. So if there's no ash and just the heat's coming up, any kind of moisture that comes over this mountain is going to collide with it and get roiled up in here, and it'll make a cloud identical to that shape. And that's exactly what I saw, was that kind of shape. And I thought, is that am I looking at a volcano going off? And then I pulled my binoculars out and saw it was cloud, but it was that shape, indicating a heat column that produces that effect. Okay, now back to business here. That's Ebico, all right? We should pull up this map one day, and I'll show you where this is on the map. Suenoshijima, unidentifiable, but look at this big old plume. And we're just more and more ash in the air every day. Ibu, 7 kilometers from the crater. Luatolo, 7,000 feet. Semaru, 15, we saw that. Dukono, 9,000. Popocatépetl, 19,000. Like 10 years ago, there was no need for this page because there was no volcanoes going off. Now we got all these different volcanoes, a bunch of them currently active, ones that are already, active, that are ready to explode. Just crazy. So Fuego, 15 again. Concepcion, remember it was 18,000. Reventador, 15. Sabancaya, 24. All right, so those are higher elevations. All right, all your currently erupting. They erupt every day. This whole list erupts every day. All of those erupt every day. Meanwhile, over here, these ones erupt occasionally. Here's Concepcion on this list. Now belongs over here. 18,000 feet. Belongs over there. Cotopaxi, I'd watch that one next, all right? It's way up high in the Andes. It's at a higher elevation, but it does surprise sometimes. Etna, we've really gotten lucky that this thing hasn't wiped out Italy yet. And I'd watch it closely. When you see that sucker puffing smoke rings again, it's time to take it seriously. Gamalama. Meanwhile, every single one of those is erupting. One that we don't read about much that's on there is Krakatoa. That's the stepchild of Krakatoa. It's the remnants of Krakatoa that darkened the planet for several years. It's currently erupting. And that's in the Sunda Strait. That's right in between Java and Sumatra in that little channel. Kilauea, still not active, but having all the earthquake activity. I believe that vent, or that the conduit through the magma goes through, might be plugged from the last eruption. It erupted a lot of lava and then cooled. Well, when that cools, it plugs up the hole sometimes, and then when pressure builds, it can't erupt again, and we're seeing earthquake swarms around the plateaus and the flanks of it instead. Manam, Mayon, Nevada del Ruiz always goes over there. Well, we haven't seen an explosion out of it lately. But these are all ones to watch, all right? And then don't expect it to be this one. Lately, it's been one that we've never heard of, or, an old one coming, old dormant one coming back to life. To tell you the truth, I'm wondering when Mammoth Mountain's going to hop on this list. I pray it doesn't, but I could tell that there was something going on over that mountain. Okay, so there's that. Let's get our weather forecast done, get this out of the way, and then we can talk shop. Let that load up there while I kind of take out some of these other instruments. Hold up the computer. Do you guys ever have to do a report in school, and then it's like due the next day, or it's, due on Friday, right? I'll put it off. I got all week to do it. A couple days goes by, Your friend's already got his done. You're like, no, I still have a few more days. And then Friday comes, you're like, uh-oh. I'm going to do it on the way to school, on the bus or whatever. We all have bad habits of procrastinating. But imagine having a report every night, like homework. I didn't like homework. And here I am doing a report every night. I'm telling you, God has the weirdest way. I never dreamed I'd be doing this. I didn't like doing reports every night. Now I have fun doing homework and doing reports every night. Current event. One teacher made us do a current event report every week. Oh, I hated it. Now I do it for fun. Interesting how, excuse me, life has changed. Now, current conditions, still severe weather up here, possibly in the North Dakota, Minnesota area. Yeah, God homework is totally different. Yeah, it is, isn't it? What's that line out of Hot for Teacher? My homework was never quite like this. Well, it means something different in that song, but my homework was never quite like this. So severe weather, northern plains. You see this tail coming, creeping up here. Watch out. Oh, I told you, morning time by 18th, right there. That's the morning of the 18th, severe weather. Noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 19th. Noon, convection, nighttime. Ooh, that could get dangerous. The nighttime of the 19th. Morning of the 20th. Noon, convection, nighttime. 21st. You see this big old blow digging in right there. Noon, convection. Nighttime. Oh, no. Wow. Sorry, I couldn't look at it yet. All right, morning of 21st. Everybody take note. The 21st, okay? May 21st. Think of it like the 21st when you, the first day of spring, the first day of summer, the first day of autumn. It's always like on the 21st, 21st, 21st. So everybody remember the 21st, because in the morning time there, that's noon. And if that's convection, this is going to get very ugly at night, because do you see how many and how spread out it is? The central low pressure is 988 millibars, so we're talking category 1, almost reaching down to category 2, land hurricane. There's a 985 by the morning, so it even lowers more in the morning. But that right there during the nighttime of the 21st, all day the 21st, because it's starting in the morning. You see severe weather back here in Nebraska. That's the noon, convection, nighttime. I'm concerned about this. I pray right now that this changes and it lightens up. That is not good. And that'll be the morning time up here into Canada and Minnesota, the morning of the 22nd. Noon, ice up there, convection, back down here, nighttime. Okay, Tennessee, this region, and no telling. By the 18th, let's see, today be the, well, this is going to be the 22nd, so be the 19th. So whatever comes off the sun tomorrow, or happens to the sun tomorrow, if we get any energy coming our way, it would enhance that whole QLCS right there, okay? That's a linear storm front right there, so let's just pray it stays, doesn't get more enhanced. Is the Schumann going nuts right now? No, it's not. It did for a little bit, but right now it's really calm. And I showed it to you earlier. We can go back and visit it again if we have to. Meantime, the nighttime at 22nd. So watch out there. Morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 24th, noon, convection, nighttime. Oh. All right, here we go. We're just memorizing the 21st. What happens 3 days later? He rises 3 days later. So 3 days later, the 24th, we got another event in the same region. That's the morning time already. That's the noon convection nighttime. This is going to be very similar to the other storm. And even down here, the structure, how organized this gets will determine how strong it is. But that's a very, very dangerous storm right there on the 24th. Going into the morning of the 25th, it's still there. Noon, convection, nighttime. It dissipates during the 25th. Morning of the 26th, see a whiplash coming back and around, pulling this up. Morning of the 25th, noon, convection, nighttime. That's the 26th, sorry. Morning of the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime. 28th, noon, convection, nighttime. 29th, noon, convection, nighttime. 30th, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, that's way too far out in the future right there. But look at this. At the very end, June 2nd, I've never seen those colors before. I've never seen those colors before. And especially up there at, oh my God, Idaho-Montana border right there. That's crazy. But that's way out in the future, and it's just a model run. It's so far out there that it probably won't happen, but that could get ugly right there too. We are going to see some very new weather, all right? You guys listen to Mike from around the world. You should. Because lately he's been dropping some hints and stuff. And the other night, or last night, he was talking about our very effect right here. He was talking about this tail right here. He described this weather effect right here, a lateral rotating curtain of air that will flop over itself like a jump rope. And when these get bigger, they will hit the ground. So what he was describing is the tail, this rope-like tail that comes off of this round object when it moves through the air. So a lot of these forecasting models will all depend on said object, where it really takes the storm. Okay, so when we play this is what natural weather does. And we'll see the difference when we see these spherical objects either splitting up storms, inducing them. I've seen them now, like 4 different effects. One will like stop the storm. It will take a bunch of rain and just make it disappear. Then I've seen other ones that are pushing a curtain of air and are typical effect where we see the storm front building up in front of it. I've also seen them like clear and move things out. I've seen them come together and make air mass collisions. So they have different effects and different qualities, different sizes are doing different things. It's very complicated, very interesting, and very intricate. It's like some kind of dance that's being done with these things that, coordinates the weather. And I've been watching this activity for the last few days now, and it's just growing more and more and more. So we saw that one night right here, right, that I just showed you. Well, last night I popped open the radar app and there was another one going on, and we did a report last night. It was the one that took out Houston. All right. So there's your model run, blah, 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 blah. Now we're transitioning from our weather into our spiritual report now, because the spiritual report is the weather. Getting crazy, huh? I know. But here we go. So that's it for the geoterraphysics, your astrophysics. Now we're gonna sit down Indian style, put your hands in the air, take a few deep breaths, and hum or whatever it is that you do. But take a few deep breaths, calm down, and we'll get into this right here. So, our effect here, these things as they move, air goes over them. The colder air up at the top of a ball would take air goes up higher in altitude. So the top of the sphere, which would be in the middle, would be the top of the ball. Think of it, it comes off the page and goes back down to the page, comes off and goes back down in all directions. Basically like a dome like this sticking up off the page. And air that goes over it cools at the top. It condensates, turns into rain, gets stronger, and then as it passes over, it lowers in altitude, warms back up, it rains, and then it dissipates as it moves on by. It has this vortex of turbulence. As this thing moves through the air, it creates turbulence. It goes around every direction, around the top, around the sides, over the middle, underneath it, that all gel together and they come back, all meet in one focal spot in the back. And when they all collide together, they cause a twisting, turbulent tail. Okay. And we can see that effect when we put this into motion here. All true indicators, real indicators of our object moving through. Let's just kind of do it like that, because then that really gives it more perspective there. Okay. Right there. Okay, big old round spheroid object. As it moves through the air, you can see it disrupting the air currents. Air goes over the top, condenses when it gets higher, causing clouds over the middle, top part of this sphere. Air flowing over it, wrapping around, causing this twisting, tailing effect here. Okay, it's pretty obvious here. You can see it nice and clear there, okay? So, this is one effect that they do, okay? I've seen them do other effects. They can be totally no storm in it. It's almost see-through, and the very edge is the arc of the storm that you're seeing, and you don't ever see the spheroid shape behind it until something goes over it or something happens around the backside that gives it the round spherical, you can finally see it, all right? So we have a new player in our weather. So when we're back here at our weather maps and our forecasting, we're having severe weather tomorrow right here through this region again, right? That's the same region where we picked up this thing, all right? Now, yesterday, we had the same effect going on, headed for Houston, Texas. And about an hour before, I checked the radar, just looking around, and I seen one of these spheres building a storm. But the storm was heading in a kind of a different direction. And when the spheroid collided with a different storm front, it went through it and continued to head towards Houston. It was the direction that the sphere itself was going. The storm's moving this way, but the sphere came down like this, and it collided with the storm and caused some rotation in it when it collided. I saw that sphere moving in, and I could tell the trajectory. It's not too hard to triangulate, especially when something's already moving in a direction. You can just put your thing over it, draw a straight line, and say, oh, the middle of it's gonna go right through there. So I did that with my pointer here. I took the middle of the sphere, I put my pointer through it, the direction it was going, and it pointed right at Houston. And I'm like, oh, dear God, in about an hour, Houston's going to be having some problems. So I went to a storm chaser. He's reporting on the storm that's off of the area. And I watched the sphere collide with the storm and make a gust front that started heading towards Houston. And I knew right away, you better start warning people in Houston right now that they're going to have some issues. Now, something happened this morning, and somebody mentioned about being jolted awake. All right, so I was jolted awake this morning, and it's kind of unnerving. You start off your day kind of irritated because you got jolted awake, right? Sometimes I'd like to wake up normally, but I got jolted awake, but I got woken up with two words: fourth gear. Like I was sound asleep, having a nice, relaxing, I don't even think I was having a dream, and somebody came up right next to my ear and woke me up by whispering. You wake somebody up, good morning, or something like that. Somebody with, fourth gear. And I jolted awake. And I thought, oh, great, fourth gear. I'm older. I'm a Generation X guy. Back in our day, fourth gear, four on the floor. Fourth gear was as fast as it went. That meant fourth gear meant you were giving it all you got. And I'm thinking, I know, uh, I'm always giving it all I got. Fourth gear, I hear you, Lord. And I get up and I start to move, but I can't move. I'm super stiff, super sore, and I can't move. And I'm like, are you seriously going to do fourth gear like this? Yeah, like it's NASCAR. Well, I am. Life is like NASCAR. Wait until you find out. And I get moving and I'm trying to go through my procedures. We all have a pace during our day, right? Some people run at a quick pace or get a lot done. I'm a fast paced, get her done type of dude, right? Fourth gear, great. I'm going to have to shower, get loosened up so I can move, take a couple ibuprofen, right? If we're going to be running fourth gear all day. And nope. Liquid cement, like trying to run through cement up to your waist. And you can't run through wet cement up to your waist. You can barely plod through it. So I felt like I was being challenged. And as things started coming up, you start planning out your day. All right, I usually got the same routine. We all have our similar routines. And if you don't squeeze your routine in by a certain time, you're going to be running late. And I know fourth gear, if I'm going at this pace, I am going to be running late all day. Then I continued to fight it and just go the best I could. And I kept hearing fourth gear. Went outside. I see 4 birds flying over me. The next thing I know, there's 4 clouds in the sky. All these reminders of fourth gear. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying. I'm going. I'm giving it all I got. Then it wasn't until I stopped for a second that I heard fourth gear again. I'm like, ugh, all right, let me get up and do it. And he said, wait a second. How many gears are in your truck? Because I'm getting in my truck and I'm starting to get frustrated. Now I have to drive. And he's like, wait a second. How many gears are in your truck? Well, I'm like 4 on the floor. I'm thinking fourth gear is full max. Well, wait a second. These modern day trucks, mine's got this nice package, whatever. It had like 10 speeds. Well, that's 10 gears. I'm in fourth gear? Oh, out of 10. Oh, no wonder why it's been so hard to move. What he was telling me is slow down. Take it easy. Sometimes we need to downshift out of 10th gear and put it in fourth gear. And I started plodding along in fourth gear at a different pace today. And I knew I was getting a little bit behind. I didn't worry about it. Fourth gear. No matter, it was maybe some stuff just not going to get done today. I managed to go through everything. And before I knew it, I wasn't looking at the clock. I was just grinding away in fourth gear. And by the time everything was done, I went to go look at the clock to see how late or behind I was. And I wasn't at all. In fact, I was early. And I was like, what? How did that happen? because it was going slower, more efficient, at a different pace. So we all have our own pace, right? So some days is, 10th gear and you're just, full blast. Other days, even though it sounds bad, 4th gear, oh my God, no, it's not as bad as it sounds. That's less than half. Oh, and here I was struggling, trying to go as fast as I could, as sore as I could, all stiff and sore. No, 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 no. 4th gear, downshift into 4th gear. Oh, that's what you meant. And for the rest of the day, everything went nice and smooth, nice and easy. I wasn't rushed or hurried. So sometimes we need to listen to that voice in our head, and even though it says something that says, "Oh, 4th gear," we all dread that. Actually, it means something different. And I'm kind of a little different tonight during the report. I'm a little slow down, a little more methodical. I'm in 4th gear tonight. That's why it sounds different. Anyways, here's our effect causing our weather and stuff. It's not the destination, it's all about the journey. That's right. I was in the store the other day buying flowers for my mom for Mother's Day, back a couple of days ago, and they get the flowers all out there. Everybody kind of looks at them, picks through them, and I just went up and smelled them. I just wanted to smell the flowers. And somebody looked at me like I was a weirdo, and I was just like, guess you never thought about the concept of stopping and smell the flowers. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the journey. Stop and smell the roses sometimes. So, a lot of different things out of that one. And then also here, we're going to pull up some other stuff. So, that was our new weather effect. And the title to this show, Houston, We Have a Problem. Okay, God gave me this one too today. Houston, we have a problem. He said this one to me a few weeks ago, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Lately, as you can see, he's been picking out cities with names, and I've been kind of taking note of these names that he keeps demolishing this city and the name of that city and the name of this town and what happened as it went in between Bryan and Courage, Alabama. And I'm like, what are you trying to tell me there? So I've kind of been documenting the names. And for instance, we had a 7.0 in Anchorage, Alaska. 7 is God's number. 70, 7.0. So you got 7 and the number 70 right there. Anchorage, Jesus is the anchor, and we're in the anchor age. So he slips these little hints in there. Now, I was trying to tell you guys when I'm showing you these spheres out by the sun, this activity, I keep joking around. Houston, we have a problem. Houston, I'm not joking. I'm serious. I'm trying to get their attention. Hey, we have a problem, Houston. The terminology from astronauts. Houston, we have a problem. Okay. Now, where'd my pencil go? Lord, why do we have to put it in the hard spot? So, now I want you to think about this for a second. Houston, we have a problem. Can be a call for help, right? It's not just the space shuttle calling back to ground control. It's a term that could also be a call for help. So then we also have, where is it here? Oh, we'll leave that right there. This thing kind of went through and destroyed Houston, right? So I put, where's my channel thing? Oh, go back. Trying to point out something here. I need my own title of this show to do it, so please, Lord. All right. Almost like headlines on a newspaper. Houston, we have a problem. All right. So it's the city of Houston, and it's like a plea of the people. The people of Houston, Houston, and the people are pleading, we have a problem. Millions without power. There's glass all over downtown. This 100-mile-an-hour storm came through and tore up Houston, Texas. Okay. So, Houston, we have a problem. That's like a headline. The headlines are Houston, and then the subtitle, the people screaming, the plea of the people of Houston is, we have a problem. Okay. Then Houston, we have a problem can also be a statement. Houston, we have a problem. All right. Then the same sentence can also be a warning. Say the astronauts on the dark side of the moon and all the power goes out. And he calls back, Houston, we have a problem. So there are 4 different things in this one message. It can be a headline, it can be a plea from the people, it can be a statement, it can be a warning, it can be 5 things, and it can be a call for help. So that is God talking loud and clear. When he sends one of these spheroids like this, where to go? Right like there. When he sends one of these things into a city and it destroys it with 100-mile-an-hour winds, he's trying to get their attention by saying Houston. He's labeling Houston. He's trying to get their attention, telling them, "Hey, Houston, you got a problem." And now the city of Houston and everybody is aware that Houston has a problem now. Do you see how it worked? Do you see how it blatantly just worked? And now these things, this one came at Tallahassee. Luckily, it didn't do a bunch of damage. But I'm telling you, there are other factors in your weather now. Okay? And you can think it's cloud seeding, HARP, weather wars. Technically, when you say weather wars, you're not too far off. It's not a country that we're at war, that's at war with us. It's something spiritual that's at war with us using the weather. Then, okay, so we got all that stuff. Those were all the notes. Oh, this is a beautiful one today too. I was watching a show, very good show. I like it, and I seen some people in the chat room, and this individual jumped out and declared himself, "I'm a leader." We were talking about alpha males and beta males and different type of. Well, now these days there's 100 different type of male, and I'm trying to tell them that a real man loves his wife. He fights for God. That's the definition of a real man. And yeah, a big argument. But this one guy jumped out and said, "I am a leader." And I was like, well, actually, you can't do that. You cannot just go and declare yourself a leader. Now, you can, why? Why can't you? Well, the definition of leader is you got to have people that follow you. You're just a real leader doesn't go out front and lead the pack. They're just a normal person going along, and other people get behind him and follow him. It's people following that makes one a leader. You don't just go declare yourself, "Hey, I'm leader. I'm going to run the show and call the shot." No. That's called egotism right there. And what we're going to do here is we're going to try to kill the ego. Because EGO, ego, stands for edging God out. So you forgot about God. You're edging God out of the equation, and he is the major part of your equation. So we got to kind of kill the ego, which makes one humble. And when you're humble, you live a life that's more satisfying, fulfilling, and rewarding. So, yeah, you can't really go declare yourself a leader. A leader is just basically a normal person that others choose to follow. Okay, most leaders don't necessarily want to be a leader. They're just doing their thing, and other people catch on and follow behind them or follow them, which would, once people are following you, that makes you the leader. There's no way of getting out of it either. If you don't want to be a leader, well, you got to tell them people behind you, quit following me then. Otherwise, you're still a leader. You can't just like escape it either. It's much different than people think. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to charge out there and be a leader. No, just go do what you do and see if anybody follows you. Then you will be a leader. So, Houston, did you get the message yet? We have a problem. You have a problem, Houston, and it should be blatantly obvious now. The sphere has slammed your city at 100 miles an hour, broken all the glass downtown, and killed 7 people now. It wasn't even a tornado. Usually it's a tornado that kills people, or a hurricane. This wind gust came through and killed 7 people. All right. So now we have new weather phenomenon that we're going to have to deal with. Mike from around the world talks about this vortex right here. All right. In fact, time to pull that up, Lord. No, I have to find it first. Okay, I'll find it first then. Not right now, but hopefully you guys listen to Mike from around the world. One of the latest interviews that he did, he was talking about the changing weather, and he was talking about a lateral tube of air folding over itself, and when it hits the ground, when these get bigger and more violent, it will come down and hit the ground with wind speeds of 200, 300 miles an hour coming down from up above. So you're going to have wind blowing down on you, pushing you down to the ground, and then spreading out. And anyways, he gets into it about it. I'll try to find a little clip where he talks about it, and we'll pull up this image, and we'll even put it into play. Here, I want to know, where's the spot where we're talking about the rotating tail here? For you, bud. We got new ways of chasing now. You see how this is folding over? I think it's right here where I zoom in on it. That totally sitting Indian style with her hands up. All right, here we go. A little bit of this tail in there too. Look at the round structure at the end. Hang on, let me get it full screen here. Come on. You can see the backside of the sphere. See all that rain's dissipating. It's going down the backside, going from intense down to normal again, and then dissipating into regular air. There wouldn't be a storm there if that big old... let me just mute that. Fourth gear, Brian, fourth gear. All right, at this point, you can see how it's causing this front edge right there to fire up. You can see our sphere, but it's this twisting vortex of air that I'm going to show here, this rope-like structure in the tail that Mike is talking about where it folds over itself. Now watch this. Now that one wasn't as big or as violent, but they can get bigger, and I think that's, it's a new weather effect that we're going to see, is this twisting. Well, it's horizontal but lateral in the air, almost like a horizontal tornado. All right. and it's twisting really, spinning really hard. It's got tight rotation already. If it bends down to the ground on the back side of this, it could touch down on the back side of the sphere with a twisting vortex behind it. So it's a new phenomenon that we're gonna have to. It's going to be very destructive, that tail type structure in the future here. So it's very important that we've made this discovery now. All right. It's no longer just, wow, something new. No, this is a fucking tool now. I'm sorry I had to say the F word, but this is a weapon now. We're going to have to use this knowledge to save people before these things go bowling into a city. All right. And if you can detect one an hour out and you can see what direction it's going, you better put your little pointer through it and see which cities are in the way and get on the horn and start warning people, because this is going to be our new indicator, a new. It has all kinds of different facets to it. A new indicator, a new controller, a new way of studying, a new way of predicting. Well, it's going to be a little different. You'll have to be more like now predicting. It's once you've spotted one and you've gotten the trajectory, predicting what's going to happen out in front of it. Now you won't be able to go, oh, tomorrow there'll be 5 spheres over Washington and 2 over Delaware or whatever. It won't be like that. You're going to have to get this trained eye, spot one on the radar, and if it's doing damage, like, a major storm like this, and it's going towards a certain direction. Say in the future, these tails are what we dread. Okay, the main thing moves over. That's not the problem. It's the dreaded tail, this ribbon that we dread, right? Well, how are we going to ever know when one of these ribbons is going to form or what direction it's going to go if we don't know what caused it in the first place and can track the direction of the object that's causing it? Once we got that science down right there, we'll have a chance. Do you see what I'm saying? Good. All right. So I think that was it on the notes, and now we can get into the reading. All right. So let me pull up a couple of images. Did you guys like that? Did you guys get that? You guys capiche, comprende, catorce? Cool. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Where are we going? 4th gear. 4th gear. Hang on. You guys are awesome. So patient here. I was watching a fellow YouTuber, and he's struggling with the stream manager and all the different settings, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I just stick my phone to the screen. I don't have to worry about all that stuff. Okay, what I do want though, help me, Lord, I'm looking for it. There it is. 4th gear today. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for the thank you. I rarely hear those words anymore. It used to be an honorable man. Everybody rock solid with my word. People called me sir and thank you all the time. Now I don't get that anymore. I've not been called sir in a few years now. Or to thank you. So thank you for the thank you. A little thank you like that can make a person's day. Are we really going to struggle this hard with this one video? And freeze up with this dude holding his hand up saying, no, stop. Oh, please. Stop it, YouTube. Come on now. You can do it. All that work for this image. Better be good. All right. Yeah, kind of weird seeing your face out by the moon. Well, gotten used to seeing it in the clouds already, so take it. This is not going to go well. Do you have any problem? There we go. We'll go for the theater effect here. All right, just pulling up a couple of things to read to. There we go. So there's my face shining on you. Real event. I got this perspective from a different angle. I can see from further back, from up above. Dude was asking me, "Oh, is the moon the Death Star?" And I go, "Not the Death Star, but something you wouldn't think." And he's like, "Oh yeah, well, what is it?" And I told him, "Well, the moon's a observation platform. Everybody's all flat Earth, flat Earth. Oh my gosh, flat Earth. What about your freak moon? Anybody even notice that your moon doesn't rotate or spin on an axis? That it's locked in one position? That it defies all astrophysics. Everything out in the universe rotates on an axis, or if it's an asteroid, it tumbles on a multi-axis. But nothing is really locked into place and has the same side facing the whole time, and you never see the opposite side of the sphere. Never, ever. That's a setup. That screams outside the laws of astrophysics. Your very moon sitting in your sky tells you there's something wrong here. Why is the one face constantly looking at us and never changes? Because it's an observation platform. See the eyes? See the eyes? It's looking at you. You're being watched from the moon. Okay? You're being watched from the moon. Let's even play that video there. I like that video. Because this video is kind of shows you that it's not in the clouds. It's a little different here. And clouds wouldn't be so smooth and perfect in texture. All right, let's get some audio here. What's going on here? Audio. Hello. All right, let me back this up a little bit.
Because I've been catching this. I am better quality camera
to
catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm not going to trip because I've been catching this thing for a while now. It's very ominous. There he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. It's a huge face.
What is that?
Looking like...
The camera he's using is probably the P900. A very expensive camera, and you can hear how hard and how long he zooms in. With this camera, you could just point it at the clouds. You wouldn't have to zoom in. This is way out by the moon, and the moon is actually illuminating this.
Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit brighter. There he is. There's the moon. Oh, I lost it. There it is. Let's see if I can get a better picture on the moon like it's supposed to. Is my hand in front of the thing or something? All right, here we go. There it is.
Look at that.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
What is that?
That's my face, James.
There it is.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
It is.
You should try my channel. Come on over, James. You'd like it over here. We have fun. We even put you on my channel sometimes. Look, I'm on his channel, and he's on my channel. Are we having fun yet? Oh, good. Now, let's get the other image pulled up, and we'll do our reading. You guys are pretty good sports. You know that? That's what I look forward to in a person. Are you a good sport? If somebody accidentally offends you, can you suck it up and be a good sport and let them off the hook and laugh and just laugh, be able to laugh at yourself and your own flaws and your own character flaws? Most people very very hurt when somebody touches their flaws. It's like, yeah, well, get over it and work on them. Then you won't be offended. Yes, sirree. And then you can live spiritually free. Pretty amazing stuff. All right, there we go. There's Old Faithful right there. Again, this activity was following me in the clouds for the longest time until my face starts showing up in the clouds. And now here's my face with a crown showing up in the clouds on Easter, a 2,000-year-old prophecy come true. When you see wars and rumors of wars and floods and earthquakes in diverse places, perplexity, the oceans and the seas roaring, I think the whole list has been filled in, hasn't it? The only thing left is to, well, if we could get you out of your phones and looking down, if you could just look up instead of looking down, you'd see me coming in the clouds. Because when you see all this stuff happening, you're supposed to look up. You'll see me coming in the clouds. Now, not like Hollywood, where some dude levitating in a white robe and light bursting off of him, coming in the clouds like on Hollywood. No. This is electromagnetically induced water droplet formation. How about that? The spheroid can electromagnetically induce water droplets to form shapes. That's God's paintbrush right there, is what you're looking at. And it looks creepy, but that's a miracle. Everybody, have any of you ever seen a miracle before? How would you know what one looks like? Well, I've seen a miracle before, and I can tell you this is exactly what they look like. That's why it looks odd. That's why it looks a little creepy or whatever. Imagine how I felt when I'm capturing this stuff. I mean, at first you're like, "Ooh, cool, I caught a UFO. Oh, look, I'm going to show the world." And after a while, you're like, "I wish this stuff would quit following me around, quit looking at me and watching me and displaying my life in the clouds." I'm thankful that you guys can't see some of this stuff because it's my personal life being played out in the clouds. And some of the stuff I've done in my life is embarrassing. We all have those things, right? So I'm glad that this is the image of me that you get to see in the clouds, because there are others that are a little more embarrassing. But this activity is going on all around you if you just look up and pay attention. Okay, we are in those times. So that's my face. That's me coming in the clouds. And if you're fascinated by what you see, you're curious, you're intrigued, well, you're caught up in it. It's like being caught up in the moment, or caught up in a good song, or, caught up in a good book, or caught up in a good movie, right? You're enthralled, you're enthused, you are caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you are you're intrigued with me in the clouds, so you are caught up with me in the clouds. We have met in the cyberspace, in the air of cyberspace. There is no word rapture in the Bible, so if you are caught up with me in the clouds and you are here with me live on YouTube, the cyberspace, then you're ready to hear this reading, aren't you? Yes, you have been raptured. All right. It's a feeling that you have inside of yourself. It's a knowing now. Your faith has been completed. Now you are in a new phase called knowing. Okay, well, when you know something now, it's a whole different perspective. People say, I believe in God, but do you believe God? Do you believe what he said, what he teaches, who he is, his character? Do you believe God? Because everybody can believe in something. Hey, I believe in Lucky Charms, right? But I don't believe what they say. So there's a big difference between believing in God and believing him. If somebody was telling you, if you were trying to tell somebody a true story of something that happened to you, you would want them to believe you, right? What if something important happened to you and no one believed you? Uh-oh, you'd have some problems. Okay. So I want to go. I got staggered notes. Yeah, that's right. So you will seek me throughout the course of your life. Eventually, you will seek me, and you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. So you can go seeking me, but you're not going to find me unless you seek with all of your heart. Because when you seek with all of your heart, then you believe. So when you believe, you will seek me and find me when you believe. And when you seek me with all your heart, you will believe me. Now, I don't expect perfection in this pursuit. When you're seeking me and you don't find me, okay, I don't expect perfection in this pursuit. In fact, it's not about that at all. Everybody is so hung up on that part. So, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. I don't expect perfection in this pursuit, and it's not about that at all. It's the effort itself that pleases me. Your effort to stay here and listen, your effort to come over to this channel and look and learn and listen. Okay? Your willingness right there. It's your effort that pleases me. Okay? It's progress, not perfection. Perfection is when you and I team up together. When you and Jesus team up together, that's perfection. Otherwise, you're imperfect and you just I know that. And I don't expect perfection. And it's not about that. It's about the effort. You got to be hungry for this stuff. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, so it's true. No, you need to be hungry for this because this is going to be your foundation here real soon. You're going to need it. And know that your effort is what pleases me. Okay? So when you keep on seeking me, even though it's difficult, okay? So the intensity of this challenge is, well, it's like a search, all right? So you're searching for me with all your heart. You find me. Then all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, now what? Now I found him. Oh, shoot. Listen up. I don't expect perfection. I expect you to put some effort into it at least. Okay? Then, actually, the intensity of this challenging search, see this challenging search that we're doing here? The intensity of this challenging search blesses you. It blesses you by making you stronger and wiser, stronger. You have courage now. You have hope now. You have everything now. But it's willingness too. So The intensity of this challenge blesses you. So now, as you strive to find me in your moments, your focus is on me. Okay, it's a challenge to find me in your moments, but when you're doing that, your focus is on me. So while you trudge toward me through this countless distractions, your awareness of me increases. So the more you practice this, the more your awareness of me increases. And even if you don't feel close to me yet, you will find yourself communicating with me. So there is a sense in which your efforts to find me are self-fulfilling. Did you know that? Did you guys even catch that? That there is a sense in which your efforts, remember, it's about your efforts to find me are self-fulfilling, aren't they? Because you found me. Don't you feel that self-fulfilling? Don't you feel complete now? Don't you feel unstoppable now? You should have courage. You know the truth now. You can see the deceptive media paradigm, the brainwashing through the high schools and the schooling process. You have a new perspective now, right? Keep striving to find me in your moments, because when you do that, your focus is on me. You're not tripping. Okay. Now, while you trudge towards me through these distractions, your awareness is on me and it increases. All right. You're focusing. You're actually practicing focusing. So, even if you don't feel close to me, your focus doesn't feel, quite sharp quite yet, you will finally find yourself communicating with me. So there is a sense in which your efforts to find me are self-fulfilling. I am richly present in your striving. Where am I present? In your striving. That's where you'll find me, in your striving. Now, when you get to this point, listen. There's the sense in which your efforts to find me finally become self-fulfilling, because I am richly present in your striving, and as a result, you now feel more alive, more awake, more real when you are actively pursuing me. Actively pursuing me right now at this show, caught up with me in the clouds, doing my reading to you, is actively pursuing me, which brings you that completion. It brings that self-fulfilling. You feel more alive, you feel more awake, and now you feel more real. That's that rapture. I told you it was a feeling. It's not getting lifted up into the clouds like Hollywood portrays. It's a feeling inside yourself that now you know. You feel more alive. You feel more awake. You feel more real. Your life is full and rich and has meaning now when you are actively pursuing me. Your willingness to pour yourself into this glorious quest. Do you understand what you're taking on now? You're in a glorious quest now with me. You're on a mission from God, on a glorious quest. So, your willingness to pour yourself, you got to give yourself, give it all into this glorious quest. And when you do, that delights me. And I don't expect perfection, it's progress over perfection. It's supposed to be this joyful journey, okay? This joyful journey is all about perseverance. Perseverance. Just keep persevering, okay? We stumble, we get up. We make mistakes, we learn from it. We keep persevering. We have a blow up and meltdown live on YouTube. Go regain composure and retry it again. All right. It's perseverance. So what if you make mistakes? So what if you make mistakes? Learn from them. That's the best thing to be making is mistakes because that's what you learn from. So don't dread them so much. Now, it's up to you. It's about your willingness. How willing are you? I mean, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. But it's your decision. It's your willingness to pour yourself. All right, you're going to actually take all that you've got in you, you're going to pour yourself into this journey with me now. All right, and it's a glorious quest. Can't you see it? It's a joyful journey with me, but it's about perseverance. Now, as long as you continue seeking me, you are on the right path. And moreover, your success is certain because I will be found by you. Or now I have been found by you. If you're willing. That depends on your willingness and your trust, your willingness to pour yourself. The moment you do, everything changes. Yeah, magic happens in your life. It's not magic. Everybody thinks that's a demonic thing, but I'm referring to magical, miraculous, beautiful things start happening. The moment you trust me, all of a sudden you realize how special you are now. You just went from ordinary person to disciple. Did you know that? Would you rather be an ordinary person or a disciple? That's your decision. You want your name in the book of life? Go ahead, sign on in. Otherwise, don't let the door hit you in the just trust me. The moment you do, you find peace and strength and joy. Because strength and joy are my dwelling place, are in my dwelling place as well. You are in my dwelling place right now, and you should be feeling some strength and some joy because strength and joy are found in my dwelling place. So the closer to me you live, the stronger and more joyful you will be. Do you want to be stronger and more joyful? Do you want to have strength and joy? Live close to me. Invite me to permeate your moments with my presence. This helps you view people from a positive perspective. Okay? We have this bad habit of viewing people from negative perspective. I do it all the time. And I catch myself doing it. God, Jesus, help me, I'm doing it again. I catch myself and I know exactly, Jesus, help me, I'm doing it again. Recognize what it is. So we think negatively, we have negative perspective on people. So when you invite me to permeate your moments with my presence, this helps you view people from a positive perspective. So whenever you're around someone who irritates you, don't focus on that person's flaws, their character defects. Instead, gaze at me through the eyes of your heart. When you're looking at that person, you're looking at me. And you're judging them going, dumbass. Yeah, that's what you're calling me. So, and it only hurts you inside. So we're trying to fix that problem that, well, society created in you. I'm trying to remove this thorn that they surgically implanted in your brain to think negatively of people. So If you want that to stop, invite me to permeate all your moments with my presence. And when you do that, that helps you view people from a positive perspective. And when someone irritates you, don't focus on their flaws. See me in those flaws. See me through the eyes of your heart, not through your eyes or your brain. When you see somebody and it's irritating you, see me through the eyes of your heart. And those irritants will finally wash over you without harming you or hurting others. Really hard stuff to do. It's simple concept, but it takes work every day. Every day is your war zone. You're out there spiritual battle every day, right? So I'm telling you stuff that I deal with hot off the street. Okay. Now, when you're judging people, it's judging other people. So when you're judging other people, it's a sin. Judging other people is a sinful snare that draws you away from me. How much better is it to be joyful in me than being irritated at somebody else, right? It's just more fun being like, oh, you're being silly now. Look at you go. All right. And know that it's me. And when you find that, you will no longer be irritated by that person. And how much better is it to be joyful in me than irritated with me? So the more you focus on me, the more I strengthen you. The more I can strengthen you too. All right. So the more I can and the more I do. So the more you focus on me, the more I can strengthen you and the more I do strengthen you. In fact, I am your strength. Am I not? Where do you think it comes from? Don't you feel good when we're here at this show and you're seeing this and you're hearing me? Don't you find finally some strength inside now? The more you focus on me, the more I can strengthen you and the more I will. In fact, I am your strength, and you can train your mind to stay aware of me even when other things are demanding your attention. I created you with an amazing brain that's able to be conscious of several things at once. So, create a permanent place for me in your mind, and my light will shine on all your moments. Okay, a little special place for me in your mind. Um, Fourth gear. Every time you hit fourth gear in the car, think of me. I don't know. You could any kind of little trick that reminds you of me when you're in the midst of having your mental meltdown in the middle of the day and you're trying to salvage the rest of your day. Okay, every day has a negative and a positive component to it, and we are in the salvage industry. I refuse to let my day be ruined. Okay? Even though something valid, extremely valid, comes up and straight up ruins your day, kicks you right in the nuts, and you have every reason to be in pain and pissed off, you have to turn it around. You have to, or else you will just be miserable. And I'm giving you the tools to help you turn that stuff around so you're not so miserable. All right? Times are tough, but try wearing a smile anyways. You're going to make somebody's day. You're going to cheer somebody up. I had to go out the other day just to find a smile. It didn't matter. I was talk to anybody or whatever. Somebody's smile is a reaction. That means that they're happy. When I see that all my hard work is worthwhile, I see it in a smile. Okay? Excruciatingly painful. Dirty job. No, I lost all my respect that I had growing up. That my whole adult life, everybody, I was a respect man in society. And now, ever since this stuff happened to me, oh, he's that crazy guy now. Unfortunately, I'm not the crazy one. It's the world that was crazy the whole time. And I was the lucky one. And now I'm going to help you guys with the gift that I was given. I'm going to give it to you. Why? Because I love you guys. I love you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I will be back. Famous words. I'll be back. And it wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger. He stole those words from someone. Someone who is back already. Signs are all over the place. And if you know, and you can see, and you can hear, you are truly blessed. My sheep know my voice. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back, and I'm still coming. Love y'all. Bye.